Andrew McKellar, welcome to The Business.
Thank you. Great to be with you.
The Workplace Relations Minister, Tony Burke, introduced the wages and bargaining discussion as the non-controversial part of the summit. Was it?
Oh, look, I think it was a very substantive part of the summit. We all agree that the enterprise bargaining system, the bargaining system more broadly, is withering. It's not coping well. It's not used as it should be. This should be where we are driving productivity growth from at the enterprise level. We have to make some changes to make that happen, but there isn't complete unanimity about how that should occur.
Well, Sally McManus, the ACTU chief today, said that productivity for too long has been used as a code word for cost cutting and driving down wages. Is that fair?
Oh, I don't think it's fair at all. I mean, productivity means much more than that. It's really about finding new ways of working, new processes. Innovation is at the heart of it. It's much more about growing the pie, not cutting the pie into smaller slices.
We haven't seen much productivity growth in the economy, if any, for a fair while. How do we get it?
Look, one of the things we would say that will help revive productivity growth is to get genuine enterprise bargaining going again. At the enterprise level, that's where genuine productivity growth comes from. To do that, one of the most fundamental steps we've got to take is we've got to make things like the Better Off Overall test, which is applied to new agreements, we've got to make that much more practical.
Well, the ACTU and BCA say they've reached an agreement to simplify that Better Off Overall test under the Fair Work Act. Are you privy to what they've discussed?
Well, of course, we're talking to the BCA, we're talking to the ACTU as well. I think it would be premature to say that they've reached detailed agreement. I think they've talked about broad principles. We're all on the same page in terms of those broad principles. The devil is in the detail. There are, I think, some things where industry would rule a red line and say we're not prepared to go down that track because it would take us backwards.
Now, on the program last night, we had the distinguished RMIT professor Anthony Forsyth, and he said essential to improving wages growth and productivity is loosening the regulation to allow greater collective bargaining and strike action. What's your view?
I'd be very cautious about that, and I heard the professor talking today. I think one of the things he was pushing for was to open up again industry-wide bargaining. We would be very wary of this. We don't want to go back into a situation where it's one size fits all. That is not going to drive stronger productivity growth. And I think we have a very clear distinction between some other economies. We have our award system and we shouldn't forget about that. It does provide a safety net and it's broadly industry-based.
Well, Tony Burke today did say that the federal government will amend the Fair Work Act to allow multi-employer agreements immediately, along with some other changes around equity for workers. What's your reaction to that?
We want to see some clarification. I mean, multi-employer agreements are possible now. It's provided for in the Fair Work Act right now. The reality is very few people are doing those agreements. You have to ask the question, so why is that the case? If there's a real advantage in these agreements, then people would be doing them now. If it's the same reasons that enterprise bargaining is not happening, then we need to look at addressing those problems, not trying to create some artificial new stream of bargaining.
Andrew McKellar, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.